Hey, it's Izzy again for Rolling Virtual Cards, coming at you with another one of those article analyzations. I don't know, it sounds so lame. I don't know, dumb articles that I read because I have nothing better to do with my life and I like these. I don't know, I just enjoy going over them and talking about whatever pops up. And this time it's the 20 hardest games for the original NES console. I've played a lot of NES games here and there throughout my life. Let's see if I agree with them. This is going to be done with one of these types of things. So let's full screen it. And yeah, the NES has a lot of hard games, and a lot of those hard difficulties on the NES specifically come from the concept of arcades. So difficulty in games back in the day for arcade games, or even with pinball was difficult and took a skill, so that you had to keep feeding it quarters. Same thing with arcade games. There were live systems and there were difficulty levels, there was difficulty spikes, so you would lose and then had to put more quarters in it. And moving over to Atari and then Nintendo Entertainment System, you really get this feeling of, okay, it's not that it was the status quo. It's not that it was just the status quo. It's also that it was like, the games are short. A lot of NES games are under 10 hours. But either due to difficulty or requiring grinding for like RPGs, heavy difficult spikes throughout the games, they prolonged the game. You had to get good to beat it. That slowly went away over the years, where they were all like, okay, well, that's not fun. Let's actually give people something to do. We don't want them to just get frustrated and then get upset. Let's make games that don't require that. And then From Software, maybe they're not the original people to bring it back, but they are the one that people give credit to bringing it back. Brought it back with Dark Souls 1 or Demon Souls on the PS3, where it's not that it's like those games, it is get good. It's all about like, hey, get better at playing the game. Death is you're penalized for dying because you lose your souls. But if you know what you're doing, you're not really penalized for dying, right? Like, you just go back there and do it again and again until you get good. So, you know, I'm not one for playing games that are like so hard, what's the point? But I do like a good here or there difficulty. But let's see what this says the 20 hardest Nintendo games are. First one here is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the first one. I can say without a doubt, this game is hard. I have never beat this game, but I have played it. And I will tell you, not only is it kind of confusing on where to go, not only is it decently long, it's hard. It's just not an easy game. There's very limited movements, and I think you only have like the 4 lives, if I remember correctly, where you have one of each turtle, and some of them are better than others. So, yeah, this is not an easy game, but it was fun to see that turtles have been existent since like the Nintendo era, and you can tell it's a turtle. And you can see, like, you got Baxter Stein's robots, and you've got, like, the Foot Clan, so, and the pizza, so, like, it's there. The game is there. I really do enjoy it. I think it's really interesting. But it is a hard game. Stupid ads. Next is Ghosts and Goblins, and yeah, this game is hard. There is no doubting this game is difficult. Even more difficult if you're going for the true ending, which requires you to beat the second playthrough, which is harder. Okay, the playthrough 2 is a lot harder than 1. I have done a run through of playthrough 1 of this game. I had no interest in doing a second playthrough, getting through it the first time. Mind you, not on the NES. I think I had an arcade collection on my PS2 that I played through it. So I had like extra lives. But even then, this game is no joke. But I still think, just like Turtles, it's worth playing. I think it's worth giving it a try. Like, I'm not saying go out of your way, do the 2 run-throughs of this game. I'm saying I think it's fun. I think both games are fun platformers. I like Ghosts and Goblins better than the Turtle game, though. I think it controls better. Next up is Battletoads, and this is the first one that I have very little experience with. I've played the new Battletoads, and I think I've played like the first level of this game, but I've been told it is grossly hard. In a lot of ways. But I've also been told that it's worth playing, and that the difficulty comes from 1 or 2 levels. That if you, and it's the type of difficulty where it's BS difficulty. It's like, okay, you're gonna get messed up here, you're gonna get hurt, you're gonna get frustrated because the lack of visual indications due to the NES's limitations and the overall inadequacy of like making video games back there. It was a newer thing, not a lot of people knew what they were doing, like at least not as well they know nowadays, led to a lot of like visual issues when it came to some of those bike levels that just really, or hoverbike levels that just really made it frustrating. But I love the Battletoads, so at some point I should definitely give this a shot and play it out. I don't know if I'll beat it. Sometimes I play these games and I get to that point where I get frustrated, and I don't play games to get frustrated. I play games till I get frustrated, and then I go, okay, game's not for me. So I'd see, but I do enjoy Battletoads, at least the new one. Okay, I've been told Silver Surfer is just dumb. I don't know a lot about it, but from what I've been told is it's just not a great game. I believe it's a shmup, like a side-scrolling shoot-'em-up. And like, it's just not worth playing. Like, this is one of the games that I would sit down and say, just don't play, guys. Like, maybe play it till you get stuck, but don't try beating it. I think all these games are worth checking out for a little bit, just to go, oh, okay, I see what everyone's talking about, right? So, yeah. I'd probably avoid trying to beat this game. I like how they put Mega Man here, okay? So this is the first game on this list that I would say doesn't deserve to be on top 20. You can tell that it's not organized. There's not like a 1 to 10 or 1 to 20, because Mega Man would be on the bottom. This game isn't that hard. I'm not saying it's easy, okay? Like, Mega Man X is a lot easier than Mega Man. But like, Mega Man's 1... Any of the NES Mega Man games, and then 9 and 10, all have some high difficulties, just because there's a lot to learn. But once you understand how the game works, and that it's not a run and gun, it's not a run and gun game where you're running and shooting everything. It's a puzzle. Here's a little screen. Identify what you need to do. Do it. And yeah, there's a difficulty level to it because, again, the game is short if you know what you want to do. People speedrun this game in, I want to say, under an hour. Let me go find out. 1 second. World record glitchless is 22 minutes. You can beat the game glitchless in 22 minutes if you're perfect. So that means, like, if you're not perfect, you could probably beat it in an hour. Maybe hour and a half, 2 hours. But that would be boring. So the difficulty comes from learning Mega Man's kit, learning the best movements, understanding how it all works. And once you understand all that stuff, then it works. This isn't your Silver Surfer, which requires perfection. This isn't Battletoads, where there's some really BS moments. This isn't Turtles, which is just poorly designed. And it's not Ghosts and Goblins, which is like an arcade game ported to NES. So it was specifically designed to eat your quarters, right? This is a game designed for the NES by Capcom, a company that knows what they were doing. Maybe this is the 20th hardest game, if you're not including games that just are impossible, but they are, because they put Silver Surfer on here. So, this one doesn't deserve to be on the list. Okay, next is Punch-Out!, and this game's hard. This game is brutal. There are heavy spikes in learning, but that's the point. Punch-Out! Is a puzzle boxing game, for a lack of better explanation, right? Sure, the first level is easy, but then as you go along, like, there's like some easy guys, and then there's just difficulty spikes. They're like, this guy's super hard, this guy's super hard, and then you have to fight Mike Tyson, or if it's Mr. Dream, either way, and it's not easy. It's difficult, like extremely difficult to get through this game. But I would still put this in the Mega Man spot of it's worth beating. You know? Some of them so far have just been like, try it out. This is a game that I would honestly suggest beating. I have yet to play it, but I should play through it. I think it's worth beating if you enjoy the game, okay? Let's make that clear. It's not a game for everyone. Some people don't like the gameplay style, you know? And if that's the case, don't play it. But yeah, I think this is like probably a very difficult game, but it's designed very well. Bart versus Space Mutants. Okay, this is another game I've heard of. Don't know too much about it, but I believe it's just another game similar to Turtles, where it's just kind of vague and confusing. But like, what do they say here? Sims is huge, the bot was iconic, so they made a game. On the other hand, this is mostly remembered for being incredibly tough because its controls are a mess. Sometimes a game is tough on purpose, sometimes it's tough because it's a fiasco. Yeah, okay, yeah. This is just one where the game just doesn't make sense. And when a game doesn't make sense, it's... I don't even know, do you classify that as difficult? Like, if the game is just a mess, is it just poorly designed? Maybe poorly designed means it's difficult. I can go with that. I mean, that's what they're going for. You know, I wouldn't. Like, I wouldn't add games like Silver Surfer or Bart to here. I'd have them on a separate list of, like, unplayable games. They're not really difficult. They're just not really playable. Castlevania 3 Dracula's Curse. This is another one. I've played through the first game and beat that with save states. I'm not... okay, here's the thing. Here's my hot take on save states for people. I think save states are 100% fair. I think if you're playing emulator and you are playing through a game, save states just save you time. The difficulty is not the fact that you want to run through this game 100 times and start from the beginning of the level 100 times and learn the game perfectly. You just want to enjoy playing a game. And yes, Castlevania 3 is a fun game, just like 1. I don't like 2. But I don't think 2's awful. But I think it has a lot of archaic things that just didn't work out. But 3 is a really good game. But it's difficult. And so save states make you go, okay, instead of having to start this entire level over, let me just load from that last part. Let's try from here again. Let me try these platformers again until you get it done. Which is kind of what nowadays platformers would do. Where, like, you don't have a life system. If you die, you go back to here. And you can just keep trying. And that's fun. I enjoy that. You get to play the game for once. You know? If you want the true experience of back then, go ahead. That's up to you. But I don't think you should criticize someone for using save states. I think that just saves you time and allows you to actually play through Castlevania 3, which is probably like an hour-long game, 2-hour-long game. If you're new, maybe it takes you 3 hours to play through it with save states. But it'll take you 12 plus hours without, because you're going to have to just keep over and over and over and over. That's just not worth it. But yeah, this is like right up there with Mega Man and Mike Tyson, or Punch-Out, where it's just like, this is a good game. The Adventures of Bayou Billy. Okay, this is another one of those, like, extremely well-known or semi-well-known, not worth playing games, where it's just like, this game just doesn't work properly, guys. It's just kind of a mess. I just highly suggest, as I said with all of them, trying it out, seeing if you like it. Maybe you like these types of crazy games. Maybe you stumble upon this video and you're like, oh man, I want to try these games out. And you do a stream or a playthrough by yourself of trying the 20 hardest NES games. And you see for yourself if they're worth playing. And you put yourself through the rigmarole. If that's your cup of tea, more power to you. I like to test them out just to see what they're like. And that's about it. Next is Ninja Gaiden, and this, again, I'm going to put up there with the other good games where, like, it's well made, but it's hard. And, it's another one where I would say save states, just like Castlevania, really make it playable. Where it's like, yeah, you're going to die, and you're going to die because of stupid knockback that knocks you off, and invulnerability modes that enemies have and stuff, and you running out of invulnerability mode and all that stuff. But it's a fun game, and it's an interesting game, and it's a ninja game, so I'd highly suggest trying it out. Fester's Quest. I've heard of this one too. And yeah, it's just another ones where the game just isn't, it's a NES game that just doesn't play very well. So yeah, Fester's got that same issue where like it just doesn't play great. Friday the 13th, I've been told, is confusing. Like, you really just don't know what you're doing in the game, and even when you finally like look up what to do, it's not easy. So yeah, like, again, is it difficult or is it just poorly designed? Yo Noid. Yeah, okay, yeah. I've seen, I think I saw Angry Video Game Nerd play this game. No, it's not worth playing, guys. It's you know, it's worth taking a dump on. It's just, it's not fun even. It's just poorly made. So, like, yeah, Capcom made this game, but, like, stick to Mega Man. The Karate Kid. I've just been told this is just not a great game. It's just a weird... I think the difficulty of this game really comes from the lack of NES's quality, right? Like, or the limitation of the NES, right? Again, while some games were difficult just to pad runtime, and some games were difficult because the game was just poorly designed, some, they had an idea, but the NES just couldn't do it. But they wanted to do it anyway. And, you know, what else are you going to do? Test the game out, see if it works. It turns out, doesn't really work very well. So that would be what the Karate Kid is. It's not the right system for the game. Okay, Double Dragon 3 Sacred Stones is another one that I've been told is really hard. But it's fun. Because Double Dragon games are fun. Save states. So, like, I think it's worth it. I think it's worth playing. Again, maybe you have to use some save states just to help you with the difficulty spikes. But I do think the game overall is fun. I like Double Dragon games. Beat-em-ups can be really fun. And I think NES beat-em-ups are really unique in that regard. Okay. Final Fantasy isn't hard. Final Fantasy is just long and confusing. This is the first RPG on the game. And like I said at the beginning of this video, the difficulty with RPGs on the NES was they wanted the games to be longer than they were. If there was no grinding in Final Fantasy, and they gave you an indicator on where the heck to go, you could probably beat the game in like 10 hours. And they didn't want you to beat the game in 10 hours. They wanted you to beat the game in 50 plus hours. So what are you doing? You're grinding constantly, and you're running around, and 3 fighters and a red mage. That's gotta be a choice. That's one heck of a choice. I'm sorry. Oh man, that's one heck of a choice. Now I want to make that video. Maybe I'll make that video. I love Final Fantasy games. I love the first Final Fantasy as well. I'm more of a fan of the GBA version of the game because I think it fixes a lot of things, and I like to run it on an emulator so I can 2x speed. But yeah, maybe making a ranking what's the best to worst loadouts for Final Fantasy 1. But yeah, the game is long and difficult due to the fact that you don't know what you're doing, so it's archaic in design. Run around till you find out what you need to do, and some of the English translation isn't great in the game, so it's confusing. And then on top of that, you have to grind. So I don't think the game's... Oh, and then like the dungeons suck because there's so much... Oh, yeah. So there's a lot of parts of this. It's where I would put it. It's archaic design, and therefore it just takes time to play, and you need to think it through, and you're gonna die sometimes or get TPK'd. Your party's gonna die. No, it's TPK. Team Party Kill, I think is what it's called. I don't know. But Total Party Kill, that's what it's called. Yeah, TPK. So, yeah. But yeah, I think it's really interesting that, like... I mean, is Dragon Quest harder? You know, I'd toss that up here, too. Both are the same type of difficulty, in my opinion. Archaic design that's just confusing. Yeah, okay, this is right up there with, Karate Kid. Game is just not meant to work on the NES, guys. I mean, cool. Thanks for this Top Gun flight simulator on a NES. No, it's not going to work properly, guys, okay? Oh, yeah, this is a shmup. Okay. The game on one setting. In one sitting, but they don't make it easy on you. Down a hole and met some. Okay. I believe this is like the a shmup. Side-scroller shmup like they did on the SNES's. I don't actually know a lot about Blastmaster. I've heard of it. But it's... Okay, so this is looking like one of those... I would probably call this a hidden gem. This is one of those, like... It's not a hidden turd. It's not one of those games where, like, I'd try it out, but it's not worth playing. This game's worth playing. Just like Mega Man, just like, the, Double Dragon 3, Ninja Gaiden, those games. But, like, yeah, it's difficult. Save states. 2 words. Again, save states. Contra's hard. Even if you play it 2-player, it's hard. But holy crap, is it fun. This game is so fun. And it's not long. If you know what you're doing, it's not long. But having save states so you can restart the level, like at the previous level, it just makes it more playable. It just makes it more playable to be able to just start back from there and get good at the next level and keep playing. Totally worth playing, though. I love Contra. And the last one, this is the last one. And it's Zelda 2. The Adventures of Link. Yeah, and I would slide this under the twosome. Archaic design philosophy and trying something out for the first time. They wanted to test something different. They did. And therefore, Link will never have RPG mechanics in it ever. You will never get RPG mechanics in Zelda because people think that's what ruined this game. That is not what ruined this game. The RPG mechanics in this game are fun. What ruined this game is that it's a side-scroller. A really difficult side-scroller with really difficult times. I don't like this game. I've tried playing it several times, and it's just not a game I prefer. I do suggest you play this game. I don't think it deserves all the hate it gets. I do think it's the only bad Zelda game in my mind. Well, bad mainline Zelda game. I like all the other ones. But, it's not great, guys. It's difficult in an unfun way. So, ending on a sour note there. Let's go back to Contra. End on a good note. Great game. Bad game. But yeah, that is the top 20 hardest games on the original NES console by Chris Morgan. So, yeah, let me know what you think the most difficult game on the NES was. And then if you've played any of the games, let me know what you thought about them down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I will catch you guys next time on another one of these. I don't know. Again, I guess Article Roundup. I don't know. Peace.